Hello and welcome to Beyond the Scale, Weight Loss and Wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Hey, welcome back. Part 2, Coach Darcy.
Yay.
We are back. How are you doing?
We're great. I'm great.
Good.
I'm saying like we as if there was more than me one, but yeah, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I got to go out this morning to breakfast with my grandson. So that was
Aw.
exciting, which kept me away from the gym. So, you
Oh,
got to make
darn.
you got to make choices someday.
That was a good choice, apparently.
I made a good choice. Yes. He's so
Yay.
cute. Oh, hey, we are back for a second part of our 2-part series on building healthy habits and breaking
Yeah,
unhealthy habits.
now we're tearing them down.
We are tearing down what we built up last week. But honestly, this is the key to a long-term weight loss program. And this is where dieting fails every time, because we are really good at following rules for about 4 weeks. And then after 4 weeks, we are really good at breaking our promises to ourselves. How long do they say New Year's resolutions go into existence for? It's like, isn't it like 7 weeks? It's like tops.
Yeah, it's not very long.
No, it's not. And I
No.
think if people read James Clear's book, and we are crediting everything we're talking about to that brilliant man, James Clear,
Yes.
who wrote the book Atomic Habits. And what we're doing is we're just going to zero in on weight loss and living a healthy lifestyle. When you read his book, it's written to anything you want to do, any habit you want to break.
Which I think is fantastic because, like you said, like we're crediting this to him, but I love the idea of how he was able to write this in a way that you can apply it to any genre.
Yeah,
When
totally.
we're able to connect it with a health style change. And we've seen it in action with our clients. And sometimes like that was the light bulb moment for some of our clients, like, oh, this book just made sense.
Yeah.
And they were able to then realize how to apply this and get motivated to make this more of a lifestyle than just like another diet, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So just reviewing last week we talked about building healthy habits and how to put them in place. And we talked about 4 laws, the 4 laws of building healthy habits. And just to review, it's law number 1 is making it obvious, making sure that you've got that thing that you want to change right there in front of your nose. Law 2, making it attractive, making sure that you like what you're doing, that it's cute, it's attractive, it's whatever, this yummy cup of coffee, this cute journal, making it attractive. Law number 3, law number 3, sorry. We've got a mailman situation in the podcast.
It's like you're
recording.
not saying anything.
I wanted to put myself on mute so that you wouldn't hear the mailman robbery, but it didn't happen. So we're going on.
Okay.
Law 3 is making it easy, making sure that you make the habit that you want to build easy. And then law number 4, making it satisfying. You're not going to do anything if you are not satisfied, right?
Yeah.
So any thoughts about last week's show, Coach?
I enjoyed it because it's a good refresher for myself, even, 5 years into this lifestyle, being able to keep myself in check and saying, am I doing okay? Am I challenging myself enough, or am I doing too much for myself? So it was a great reminder for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to dive on the other side of this, because we all have habits that we have put in place in our lives. like, oops, how did that get there? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize, I remember a habit when I was so very ill, when I would be on the trip to go take the kiddos to daycare. It was a habit, a daily habit of ours to stop by the gas station to get 2 donuts for myself and one for my kid. And we would eat a donut on the way to daycare.
Mm.
And I mean, I can still smell it. I can still remember this the sounds, the taste, and all of it because that, donuts were my drug of choice back then.
Yeah.
And I remember how it felt to have that in my life every single day. So we all have habits that are preventing us from getting healthy.
Yeah.
So we got to break them. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take 4 laws of reversing habits and putting them into play and talking about each one of these. So the first one, in fact, last podcast, I actually gave this away accidentally because I had
It
the
was
wrong
just a
notes in
sneak
front of me.
peek.
It was a
Just,
sneak
just,
pre.
just,
We
just
wanted
go
them to
with
come
it.
back. So you all know
Yeah.
what the first one is if you saw our show last week. But law one, we want to make it invisible. If
Mm-hmm.
there's a habit that you want to break, we've got to make it invisible. So let's talk about that, Dars.
Yeah. So I like to, when a client comes to me and they are like, well, it's really hard because I have a spouse that still eats, eats non-keto items. So it's in my pantry or it's on the countertops. And I see it all the time. And when I see it, that's when I want it. So, a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to rearrange your pantry. You're going to have to
Hmm.
rearrange those food options and then tell your person who's not keto, said, sorry, but I'm going to move this so that I
Hmm.
don't see it. It's not easily accessible to me. So I have done this. I have rearranged my pantry to the point where I have my kids' school items, their snacks, those types of things at the bottom shelf, and am not walking by it and like glancing and saying, "Oh, that looks delicious," like and get tempted. I put it at the bottom of the shelf. You can put it in the back of the pantry.
Hmm.
All of those things that you can do to be proactive, to not see it, because
Hmm.
it's like that. What is it? Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Usually,
Yeah.
unless you know it's there.
Hmm.
Unless you know it's there,
Yeah.
then when
And
I
if,
say when I
yeah.
know when I make it invisible, that's when I just don't make it.
Yeah. Well, and in
Right?
full disclosure, 1 out of 3 of our clients that I work with, and actually the ones that you work with too,
Mm-hmm.
are food addicts. And so
Yes.
sometimes that doesn't work for those
Right.
clients. Sometimes, like when that there's some chocolate chips in the back of the cupboard, your mind knows it's
You're
back
thinking
there.
about it.
And so for some people, this is impossible. They actually have to get it out of the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But it's very frustrating for family members,
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, you're getting rid of my food. Well,
Yeah.
I love what one of our clients said in response to this one time. She said, have the hard conversation with them that I need you to love me through this. There's some things that you're going to have to have hard conversations with your family if it's to save your life, right?
Yes.
But sometimes just by making it invisible, it's enough. Now, I am a food addict. Okay. So I struggle with what the second version of what I was talking about, but I have been in remission long enough that I am able to have it out of sight. Like my kids, I live with the fireman, right? He brings in carbs like crazy, and I am so distanced. I have so distanced myself from the carb crap that it doesn't even tempt me anymore.
Right.
What tempts me more is the keto treats and the
Mm-hmm.
keto sweets. And so I'm the only one that it's tempted. I don't buy it. So
Right.
it's easier for me that I have learned, and I think you and I were talking earlier about learning what this stuff does to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's probably coming up in one of the laws that we're
That's
going to talk
yeah, that's a
about
lot too.
today.
Yeah.
But so I have done that already. That stuff to me is poison, and so it doesn't phase me.
Yeah.
What phases me are the things that are kind of good for me, or not bad for me, like the keto treats.
Right.
So I can just make the choice not to have it.
What I since again, I mentioned this in the last one that since being carnivore, my downfall before that was all of the nuts that we have in a
Mm-hmm.
container,
Mm-hmm.
and that's healthy. All of those, even the broccoli, all of those things are healthy, but it was not doing my body good.
Mhm.
So going carnivore, I had to tell myself and challenge myself. That's where the challenge came into play, where I made it difficult for myself to challenge me to not like, nope, you can't have this
Mhm.
right now. It's not your time to have these.
Yeah.
And since I completely have been
Mhm.
abstinent from those, I don't desire it. So I didn't give myself a chance to, oh, I just one bite. I just want one
Right.
bite. You know, I don't allow myself to have that.
Mhm.
And now I'm able to be like, yeah, I don't really
I
even
didn't
desire
need
that.
it.
I
Yeah.
don't need it. So I can walk by it in my pantry. And I say that walk by my pantry because my pantry is open for the
Mhm.
world to see.
Yeah.
Um, but that they're in in clear containers, which another way to make it invisible is get containers that are not clear.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
them in
Totally.
something that you can't see what's inside of the containers so that it's hidden from you.
Mhm.
But that was a side note.
Yeah, no, that's a
But
great one because
since
when you
good.
walk by those,
Yeah.
jar of nuts and you see them, your salivation begins. Your stomach starts to prepare, saying, "I know she usually gets a handful of me," so
Yep.
it releases insulin. Whereas if you can't see it, you can't see it, right?
No, right.
That's beautiful.
It's just one of those things where I haven't done, but I've been able to. I have worked on this for a long time. Not everybody's able to do that. So
Mhm.
like just like you, like where you've just nope, the stuff's in my house, but I don't need it. Like
Mhm.
I don't need it. But if it was a keto treat, then yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit more tempting. But in
Yeah.
my case, I'm just telling myself, nope, this is not a part of what your challenge is. So you do
Yeah.
not get to have these right now.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. So making it invisible is
mhm.
law one. You want to reverse a habit? Let's make it invisible.
Yep.
The second law is making it unattractive. So remember, the reverse of that when we wanted to build a habit is making it attractive, making it cute, making it all warm and fuzzy. If you want to break a habit, you want to make it gross, make it unattractive. Reduce the appeal of the foods that you don't want to eat, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that I think this is where you brought in the learning and the education. Is that the right category of learning about what those foods
Yeah.
actually do to your body?
Right. But it first started with me thinking about and breaking down how a meal was prepared and what is um the main food product on a plate usually. It's usually
Mhm.
pasta, it's usually bread, it's usually I guess potatoes could be in there too, but more so the bread and the pasta. When you are
Mhm.
having those without any sauce on them, they're not necessarily appealing. They're dry, it tastes like flour.
Mhm.
Flour doesn't taste good to me unless, there's some people that might like the taste of flour. But
Mhm.
I was breaking down a donut, a yeast donut. I would, taste the flour and yeast without the sugar in my head, and I'm like, that really does not taste good. It just
Mhm.
tastes like yeast and flour. The only thing that makes that donut taste good is the sugar that they dip it in, or the icing that they put on top, or the filling that they put in there.
Mhm.
So it's not even the main container of the food product that you're eating. The same
Mhm.
with the pasta. It's the sauce that brightens that plate up.
Mhm.
And usually it's the sauce that more than likely is a healthier option. So if you nixed those things, I just had to break down the taste of each item in the food, and it
Mhm.
just was unappealing to me.
Yeah.
And
You
then
know what's
after
unattractive to me?
what?
Red dye 40.
Right?
Learning that that's antifreeze or
And and
motor oil
well, and a parasite.
and a parasite.
Yeah,
So that is really unattractive to me.
that
And so
is.
if a food is red and I look in and I see red dye 40 and then don't get me started on yellow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Learn what's in your food. It'll be darn unattractive to you.
Right. Right. So then that's where the education of
Mhm.
learning how these things are made, if
Mhm.
especially if they are ultra processed.
Right.
Know if you're having pasta from over in Italy versus like in the country
Mhm.
versus here, that that pasta is probably a lot cleaner and
Mhm.
healthier for you because they make everything from scratch versus getting pasta from a grocery store because
Yeah.
where they have to, and I know that this is a kind of like a new FDA type of approval type thing
Mm-hmm.
where they have to put these chemicals, these preservatives in these food products. I don't think it's necessarily a choice of the maker of the product, but they have to put these preservatives in there for it to be shelf stable. They do that with wine. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you go over to Spain and you're like, "Hey, can I get this sent to me into America?" He's like, "Yeah, but this is not the same because we have to put this chemical in it
Right.
before we can send it to you."
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do
Yeah.
we have to have garbage in those things? Well, it's because it is required of
Yeah.
these companies,
Yeah.
unfortunately, to put this crap, literal crap and preservatives in
Yeah.
our foods.
And
So that's
that's why we educate our clients. We don't
yeah.
just tell our clients what to eat and what not to eat. We walk them through why we're not doing that, and we take them through science. We give them science lessons.
It doesn't mean that we're crunchy either. There's that term that we're crunchy.
We are? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that one
It's
of
a
your
it's a it's
generation's terms?
a modern term of a crunchy mom.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. It's just that
Okay.
they're very well aware of what's in
Oh,
their food products and their
well, I
skin
like
products.
them.
And I
I like
know.
them. Yeah.
Call me crunchy. I don't
That's
care.
fine.
Even
Can go
though that
so many
doesn't make
different
sense.
ways. Could go
What does
so
that
many
even
different
mean?
ways with that. Yeah, but totally. The more you know, the more unattractive that other
Hmm.
lifestyle is. And so find a way if you're trying to break a habit to make it unattractive. Okay. Smoking. I remember in my day when there were so many people that were smoking, they started to educate people on what do your lungs look like?
Yeah.
What do your lungs look like after you've smoked for 40 years? Scared us to death when we were sitting in class and they would bring in a picture of a black lung, scared the straight right out of me. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I don't want that. So make it unattractive. The third law is make it difficult. You want to break a habit, make it difficult to do. Um, here's where we talk about your trip home. If you are struggling going through McDonald's every day for a sweet tea, make it difficult to get to McDonald's.
Go a different route. Yeah.
Go a different route. Make it difficult to obtain your habit. If you never have it in the house, if you are really, really tempted, let's say you haven't started your health journey yet, but you are really, really addicted to, having a bowl of cereal, sugary cereal every night, make it difficult. Say, okay, if I want to have that bowl of cereal, I will go out and I'll get enough for one bowl, but I got to go to the grocery store to get it first. I got to go to the grocery store. A lot of countries do that. They go to the grocery every day.
Yeah.
They bring home their supper every day, fresh and new. They don't go get a week's worth of groceries like we do. So
Mm.
make it difficult to obtain. Um, Planning and preparation, those things come easier with time. It will become second nature for you to say, you know what? I need to make sure I have enough bacon here this week. I need to make sure that those eggs are hard boiled. Um, and so the reverse happens a lot more naturally, I think, than making it difficult because our habits, they would be habits if they were easy to do, right?
Hmm.
So you're gonna have
Right.
to really think that through. How can I make that more difficult? All right, coach,
Yeah.
you want to take us
So
through the last one?
the last one we're going to talk about making it unsatisfying. And that
Mm-hmm.
is where that one's a big one I think
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
The reason why we have developed these habits is because we get satisfied after we
Mm-hmm.
have done those habits.
Mm-hmm.
Where whether let's bring in the smoking. People have gotten addicted to smoking because,
Mm-hmm.
they have that nicotine in there, just that is satisfying to them.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other examples of that
Well,
where
for an example of that, sometimes this I noticed this when I worked at the jail this summer. One of the things when I worked in the addictions world were the I think I want to call it Narcan, but that's probably wrong. It's the shot that they get if they drink anything at all, they get sick. I think of that, of making that drink actually unsatisfying. And so sometimes people need a medical thing to, okay, I got to have some medical help with making this unsatisfying. But yeah, making it, how do you take the pleasure out of that particular habit that you have?
Mhm.
Do you connect this habit with, say, friendships? Do you need
Right.
to break the social aspect of this? Do
Yeah.
you need to stay away from certain friends because the friends are the ones who bring you down and peer pressure you into it? Do you need to, release yourself from some toxic relationships? It's okay to do that. It is okay to protect your own health journey by distancing yourself from toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, go
I
ahead.
think I think you pinpointed another one at I don't know, our last one with the smoking in the lungs
Mm-hmm.
like that. But you can do the same thing with what the unsaturated fats are doing to your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, educating yourself to know what the red dye 40 is doing to
Mm-hmm.
your brain. So that to me makes it very
Mm-hmm.
unsatisfying to know what
Right.
these foods are doing to my body. And yeah, you might be in the gym all the time and working out and having a good habit in the same breath. You could be after that workout going in out with the girls and having a beer,
Mm-hmm.
or going and having. Well, you know what? As I was at the gym, I'm thinking this is probably the unhealthiest place for a healthy place that I go to because when I go in there, I see a giant bowl of Tootsie Rolls.
Uh-huh.
I see all these energy drinks, thinking that this energy drink is somehow going to pump you up and be muscular. But if they just looked on the inside of their body and they realized with all this working out, building muscle, they are actually covering their organs with the fat that
Mm-hmm.
they're
Oh yeah.
consuming with these products and the chemicals that they're putting in their bodies. So when I
Cancer
think of,
offices are the same.
yes,
Putting a bowl of candy in a cancer office.
oh, they encourage them to drink Coca-Cola, things like that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing they can taste anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's so that to me is unsatisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Just to know that why are these places that are pushing health and exercise
Mm-hmm.
one of the unhealthiest places to be?
Yeah. Totally.
That
Totally.
was a random thought, but
Yeah. Hey guys, if you have not read the book Atomic Habits, we highly recommend it. It will literally change your life and it's an easy read. And one of my habits that I needed to build was how to read something every day. So I had
yeah.
to use the four laws of habit building to read actually through his book. But the more I did, the more my life just completely benefited. So if you haven't read that book, please grab it because it will change your life. It will help you on your health style journey. And of course, your coaches right here are here when you're ready. A lot of you aren't ready yet. You're not ready to change your life, but some of you, we know, lay awake at night, very frustrated with the fact that you've tried everything in the book and you just seem to fail. I did it. I failed
Mhm.
for 28 years. And so we know what those sleepless nights are like. And so in fact we asked God to remind us of those very moments when we coach our clients because it is real and you're not broken. You're not weird. You are completely normal. You just need somebody to walk you through those pits and valleys. So
Mhm.
if you are looking for someone to help walk you through that, please reach out to us at kmhealthcoaching.org. Go find your coach, set up an interview with her. It's completely free. She will put you in the right program and you will be on your way to healing again. So, building habits and breaking habits are the foundation of losing weight and of getting healthy. Any last words, coach?
No, other than when you do this, we talked about this a little bit the last podcast is doing these little by little. Don't expect to just all of a sudden dump your whole pantry, which I did
Mm-hmm.
when I did do this because I was like, let's dump the whole pantry and start new.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are extremists like that, but starting 1% is going to be more sustainable
Start small. Mm-hmm.
than, and he talks about that in the book as well. Like
Yeah.
you'll get that
Start
1%.
small.
Start small and just grow from there. Have that growth mindset as you
Yeah.
go. You can do this.
You can do this. And we will see you next Tuesday morning. We drop a new podcast and by the way, for you podcast listeners, if you want to see us live and in person, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on all of the socials at 11 o'clock a.m. every Tuesday morning. So come listen to us at the podcast. It drops at 6 a.m. on Tuesdays. And then come and see us live and in person. Those are crazy, crazy
Yeah.
sessions right there. You get the crazy coaches on that show. So all the socials, go find us over there. And guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.